Hello, hello, hello. Health, wealth, life. I think it's day 43. It's been a mad day. My voice may be a little strange today because I've been talking a hell of a lot. But it's all good. I'm all warmed up and ready to roll, I think. How are you? Let's get this sorted. How are you? How are you doing? Voila. Okay, hashtag health, wealth, life. If I say anything that rings your bell, so to speak, press the share button, give me some thumbs up, let me know I'm on track. We've covered a lot in the first 43 days of this year and of health, wealth, life. And the aim of the game is to stack a number of techniques that bring out your personal best. Okay, I'm going to give you an exercise tip today. Last couple of days, we talked about a 30-second tip that could just change your whole world and bring so much more health to your system. It's a stone cold fact that this 30-second tip that I suggested is beneficial to you on 1,000 different levels. If you look it up, you look at the video, look at 30-second tip from a couple of days ago, it's beneficial to you on so many levels, hundreds of levels, and it will improve your health and performance short term and long term, no doubt. It's a stone cold fact. Then the next level I got you to think about was the quality of what you're taking there, the quality of that 30 seconds. What is it you're ingesting in that 30 seconds? So have a watch of that video, it's well worth it. Yesterday we talked about transformation and how some people can block you because, Lauren, good to have you in the house again, as always. Hope you had a good day, hope you're feeling well. Yesterday we talked about some people can say things that hold you back and how to blast through that, and I'll give it to you now. It's the more certain you are, the person who's most certain will win. So if you're more certain than them, you'll win. Yeah. So now today I'm going to give you an exercise tip. So a few questions first. How many reps do you usually perform when you do a workout, when you're in the gym, or when you're at home, or wherever you work out? How many reps do you usually perform? Pop it in, and I'll always see this message. If you're watching it live, pop it in now. If you're watching as a recording, pop it in. Steve, good to see you, mate. So how many reps do you usually perform when you work out? The other thing is, how intense are those reps? So when you get to the end, say you do 10 reps, when you get to those 10, do you think I could do another 10? 8 to 10 reps per set. Thanks, Lauren. So when you get to the end of those, do you think I could do another 3, 4, I could do another 10, or wow, that was my absolute max, I couldn't do another one? So how intense is the set? That's my next question. Now, my last question, and it's a little flow. Nola, thank you for sharing. I really appreciate that. Sharing is caring, as always. So anything I say that resonates or you think could help anyone, please press the share button. You can do that while you're watching, and give me a thumbs up as well. Rosella, watching from New York. Hope you're having a good day. Nice little chat, quick chat earlier on. So 3 questions. How many reps do you usually do when you're working out? How intense are the sets that you do? Do you think you could do 2 more reps at the end of your set, 10 more reps at the end of your set, or was it your absolute max you're just about to drop? And do you ever change that? Do you ever change those variables? Think about those 3 questions, because that's the real gist of getting some real effective exercise into your program, into your daily life. Now, what I see most is most people going in, and the basic bottom line is it's not intense enough. It's not intense. So they'll think that, firstly, we could talk about what muscle groups you're doing, but if we're just working the bicep, it's not that big a muscle. It's not going to create that much of a calorie burn. So you want to hit the bigger muscles first. I think that was Rose. Thank you for the thumbs up. And Nola's introduced me to you through online. Good to have you aboard again. So if you're working a small muscle, it's not going to have the most effect, because most of us want body composition and we want to burn that fat, so we want to hit the big muscles first. That's another conversation. But what I'm saying is most people go in and do 8, and it's not intense. They just think by performing the movement that it's going to get the result, which is not true. You need to actually stretch your boundaries in that movement and then challenge yourself in that movement, in those number of movements, however many that is, to get the improvement and the progress. Does that make sense? Give me a thumbs up or a yes if that makes sense. I want to make sure this is clear. So the first thing is intensity. Don't see enough intensity from people. So what I suggest you do, now I think, in my opinion, I put the weight up every set. Exactly, that's another way of doing it. It's very good, because so I know you've got some background, Lauren, with you were involved and you know some people in training, so they knew how to train properly. So you've got some good tips in there. So let me share some of those and help me get them across as well. So give your tips away as well. So what I want you to do is create more intensity. I think, there's a lot of argument today that you only need body weight. You can get yourself out into into nature and exercise, and I think that all has its place. Absolutely, 100%. I'll be doing a video soon with my friend Bonnie Moore. She's a body movement specialist, and watch out for that video soon. Lovely person, just had a baby, so we're going to talk a little bit about that. Stay tuned for that. She'll give you some top tips. So if you can use that type of training, but I think it all has its place, because you need the increase in intensity, you need the increase in weight that is available in the gym, and you need to be able to adjust it just right for you, so you can challenge yourself at the right intensity to get the kind of progress you want. And there needs to be a period of time over the year, over the course of months in your year, every single year, where you spend it in the gym. That is my true understanding and my experience of it. So we need some period of time in the gym. Hey H, how are you? Tara, good to have you in the house. Thank you for the thumbs up, appreciate that. Again, share if you can share while you're watching. I really appreciate all the shares that you've been giving. Thank you so much. Now let's get this message out. So the message is, we want more intensity with what we do. Now we're talking about exercise here, but we can always relate this to other areas of our life, right? As I usually do, that's the way I like to train. But let's talk about exercise. So more intensity. So by the time let's say you do 10, Lauren, you said 8 to 10 reps, right? So let's say you're doing 8 to 10 reps of bench press or a squat, either way. So a bench press. Now when you get to those 10 reps, I want you to feel like you couldn't do another one. I don't want you to be all over the place where you lose your technique, but I want you to feel like, choose a weight that it challenges you for those 8 to 10 reps. Make sure it's intense, and be honest with yourself. You need to be honest. Was that really intense? Could I do more? I know when I start training someone, I give them a weight and I say, was that a challenge? They say, oh yeah, that was enough. I know it weren't. And then 2-3 weeks later, we've doubled the weight. I know there's a lot of progress in the first 6 weeks of a resistance training program, but I know it's just a psychological thing. They just haven't been there before, so they're unsure, which is cool, and I build them up quickly into that. But be honest with yourself, and you could build that up quickly over time. Or you could do what Lauren said, increase the weight slightly each set. Okay, now what I suggest there is you get yourself a few sessions. You don't need to think about a lifetime of investment of personal training, but get yourself a few sessions with the best coach that you can afford. Find who that is. If you're a multi-millionaire, you can afford the best trainer on the planet, get them and have a few sessions with them. If you're not a multi-millionaire, you're like an average person, like myself, then find the best person that you can afford and organize a few sessions with them and get the technique right, so that you can really increase your intensity of your exercises for short bursts of periods of time of your training programs. You'll get much better results. So the title of this video is Fast Twitch Muscles for Results. For faster results, right? So what you do is get the technique right, either get a friend to watch you or invest in a trainer and get your technique right and increase the intensity of your workouts, your squats, like the big compound movements. So the squats, chin-ups or pull-ups. I prefer chin-ups for most people because of the shoulder. That's another conversation anyway. But so chin-ups, squats, deadlifts, bench pressing, those main compound movements, really up the weight on them. And we want to up the weight so much that you can't even lift them more than 3 or 4 times. Like it's your 3 or 4 rep max. In fact, if I was training you, I'd get you to go, after a period of time, get your technique right, I'd get you to do your 1 rep max. We'd find out what that is. So your 1 rep max, where you can just make it 1 time. That's all it is. That's all we need. And we'd have a certain amount of rest. You have longer rest periods after 1 rep max, and then you hit it again. You do more sets. So sets and reps are inverse. The more intense the set, if you're doing a 1 rep max, you have a longer rest period. And if you're doing 8, 12, 15 repetitions, you can have shorter rest periods because your recovery is different, more neurological and more muscular. So first suggestion is get a great trainer, get the best trainer you can, and get some technique and increase the intensity. And spend 2 weeks on higher intensity. Keeping your technique right, don't lose your technique, keep your technique. And that's why I'm saying invest in a trainer for 2, 3, 4 sessions or as many as you can, and get your technique right and take the intensity up. And play around with your 2, 3, 4 rep max, maybe even touch on your 1 rep max if you're feeling confident. I won't do that if you're not skilled in the gym. Yes, but take the intensity up. So if you're doing 10, try and find your 5 rep max. Yeah, that's doable. Try and find your 5 rep max. Spend 2 weeks doing that with all your exercises, and then go back to switching it up. So I'll come to that point in a minute. So variety is the spice of life. You'll know that one. But variety is also spices up your results. Variety will spice up your results in the gym and other areas of your life as always, but you need to change it up. So you can spend 2 weeks of going really intense, of your 1, 2, 3, 4 rep max, maybe 5 rep max. Play around with that and do a few more sets, because the sets don't take as long. The time under tension is less. Train with someone, give you so much more motivation, time saver workout. Yeah, so it's going to save you time, Hannity. And yes, if you can train with a partner, perfect. And maybe record it. Happy for you to send that to me and let me check out your technique, and I always give you some tips. There's a couple of Skype sessions I do with people. It's also a possibility. But get the best trainer you can anyway, and have a conversation with them around that. So after 2 weeks, I want you to go back to like around 8 to 12 reps. That's where hypertrophy happens. Now, what hypertrophy means, you'll grow more muscle. Now, if you're a woman, don't worry. Back in the room, the signal always goes for some reason, I don't know why. So if you're a woman, don't worry about that sentence. More muscle is not a bad thing. If you go for the biggest, packing on the most amount of muscle as a woman, you'll only get toned. You don't have the testosterone in your system to get big and bulky. Don't worry. Okay, so just go for 2 weeks intense, and then drop it back to 8 to 12, which is hypertrophy, for about 4 weeks, and then change up your workout. Okay, so what this will enable you to do, that 2 week of higher intensity will enable you to lift more weight. You'll get stronger. So you're training your strength system. You're training a strength curve and maybe a power curve, depending on how heavy you do go. Cool. That's a great diploma to have. Useful for the rest of your life and everyone who knows you. So that will enable you to lift more, and then when you go back to the 8 to 12 hypertrophy range, you're lifting heavier weights and therefore getting better results. Make sense? Give me a thumbs up if it makes sense. So it's all about time under tension. You can work on explosive and your strength pattern, and what you'll get is you'll hit the fast twitch muscle fibers. Now if you look at sprinters, you think whatever your thought around how they train, but they're powerful. So to train power, they train between 1 to 3 repetitions. That means that they can move a weight fast and explosively over a distance quickly. Okay, and that's what they're doing with their bodies, right? So they're moving their whole bodies over a distance very quickly. So they're powerful. They actually train with explosive movements. And if they were to do weight training, they'd be very explosive and powerful, not so much endurance. So if you ask them to do 800 meters, 1200 meters or more, they might struggle because their muscles are set up for fast twitch muscle fibers. But we've all got a certain amount of each of these. So what we want to do is spend a little bit of time building them and then go back to the other fibers, because when you hit those fast twitch muscle fibers, they're the fastest ones to progress. So you'll increase your muscle tone and you'll increase the strength in your system quicker if you hit those muscles in that way in more intensity. Okay, so I'm suggesting you get a trainer for a few sessions, 2-3 sessions might do it, and then increase the intensity of your workouts, 2 week period, and then go for a 4 week, 8 to 12 repetitions on your workout program. And I'm suggesting all this done in the gym because I love the gym. And I've explained a little bit why you want to be in the gym. But it all has its place, I just love the gym. So variation is key, but intensity is the driver of your results, okay? So you've got to vary what you're doing, but intensity is the driver of your results. How intense can you get? You know, how intense can I get in these videos? Maybe that will drive more results if I got a little bit more intense, but I like to feel it out and get the balance. You know, everyone's got their own vibe, but bring the intensity. Bring the intensity to your workouts. Do it for a 2 week period and notice the difference. That's the tip for today. So if I've said anything that resonated with you or you think could help someone, one of your friends or family, one of your colleagues, give me a thumbs up, give me a share. As always, I appreciate that. And just to recap, go 2 weeks of heavy lifting whilst not losing a tiny bit of your technique. Keep your technique. So yeah, one-on-one with friends is a great idea, Lauren. Yeah, train with a friend. You can watch your technique. Maybe you could organize with the best trainer you know to just Skype in. If you're with your friend, you can Skype them in, get them. You hold the camera and they watch your friend, and then you change, and the trainer can give you a session that way. I'd be happy to talk with you about possibly doing that at some point. Anyway, it's all to be figured out. Have the conversation. Start that conversation. Increase your intensity for 2 weeks and then keep the intensity up. You should be lifting more weight than you was prior to the 2 weeks for your 8 to 12 rep maximums in the hypertrophy zone. So let's build that muscle, because the more muscle you have, the more calories you'll burn, the safer your joints, all the good stuff. You control your blood pressure, your blood sugar, all the good stuff happens. So we really must challenge those muscles at periods of time throughout the year. All right, we wouldn't keep that level of intensity all the way through the year. It's undulating, yeah? So you go up in intensity, you come back a little bit, let your body recover, active recovery, and you go up in intensity, and you go forward that way. Okay, keep it in mind, this is an exercise tip today. So we'll look at the lens system, lifestyle, exercise, nutrition and supplementation over the course of the year. And I'll give you a lot in exercise, a lot in lifestyle, a lot in nutrition, and sprinkle some supplement ideas across there as well, which just, it's all about results. Now I'm going to talk about in the future about how your life is a puzzle. And I'll go into this another day, but you know, if you look at a puzzle, we can zoom in and look at exercise, and exercise is a puzzle of itself, right? So you're thinking, what kind of exercise, how intense, how much do I do it, how much rest period, where's the you know, all of that, it's all a puzzle. But if you can get little pieces of that puzzle, this is how intense it wants to be for this long, and this is how much rest period I should have, and this is what I should be eating, you know, and you have a little bit, and then the puzzle becomes clear. And if we zoom out a bit more, we're looking at your lifestyle, that's a puzzle as well. And if you zoom out and look at your whole life, it's all a puzzle. So all these health, wealth, life trainings and the videos are all little pieces of the puzzle, and we just get one piece right at a time. That's the aim of the game. Okay, now we want 100,000 people in this group. How do we get them there? You share. Press the share. Sharing is caring. Help me get the message out, and invite people in. Bring a friend next time you come. We're every day 6 p.m. Tomorrow, yeah, should be 6 p.m. tomorrow, no problem. Sometimes I'm a bit late because it has been so busy this year, but I will be here every day. I've been here so far, and I will be here every day. I've talked a lot today, so my voice is might be on the way. I might do one in the next 2 days where I'm talking like this and I can't, you know, but still, or maybe I'll sign language it. Who knows? Let's see. I've got to make it happen, all right? So that's the tip for today. Any questions at all, pop them in the box. I will see them, I will answer it, or send me a direct message as some of you have. Great conversations. Happy to see you all in the house again. Hopefully this has been of benefit to you. And if it has, share it. Share it and give me a thumbs up. So, last thing to remember is, happy is a skill that you can learn, and this is a better way to bring out your personal best. Let's go get some health, wealth. Let's take the world with us. Have an amazing evening. Take care of yourself and everyone around you. And I'll see you tomorrow at 6 p.m. Peace and love. Happy days.